Welcome from these late Roman ruins. They are located in South Serbia, but in the 5th century AD it was like a middle of a Roman Empire, an empire that will fall in a few decades. Today I would like to tell you about a chain of events that led to fall of Rome and to the collapse of Western Roman Empire in 476. This is Ziemowit about history. If you like history content, please subscribe to my channel and let's go. In my opinion, the beginning of the end of the Roman Empire was in year 235, when young Caesar Alexander Sever was going to fight Germans in Gaul. Legionnaires rebel against him and slay him as he was in his military camp. And this was the beginning of the end, because Alexander knew that very strong and very expensive Roman army is not going to be sustained by the Roman economy, because the army was overgrown and the budget, the economy of the empire couldn't sustain this expense any longer. So he wanted to make some cuts so the economy could sustain it. But legionnaires didn't accept it, didn't understand his thought, and they slay the emperor. And the fatal outcome of this assassination will be half a century of civil wars, of internal struggles between over 50 generals who will proclaim themselves as emperors. They will fight each other, and of course, during this great civil war lasting half a century, all Roman neighbors will gain. First of all, Germans, Germanic tribes from present-day Germany. They will cross Rhine, they will cross Dunaj River, and they will raid Roman provinces. Sarmats stationating in Pannonia province and in the Great Eurasian Steppe will also raid the eastern and central part of the empire. And in the east, new, very strong and very aggressive Sassanid Empire will start to consume eastern provinces of Roman Empire. And finally, in the end of the 3rd century, Emperor Diocletian will come to power. And during his reign, he will try to make Rome great again. He will praise the old gods, and he will try to enforce these beliefs on all Roman population. He wanted to revitalize this old religion and unite all empire under the god Jupiter, Mars and Saturn and so on. He will try to discriminate Christians. He will proclaim an edict that will ban Christian religion. This will, of course, lead to bloody riots and small civil wars in the empire, because the Christian population was quite big in this time. So they were not giving their heads easily. They were often fighting with other Romans. So it will be very weakening the empire from inside. Diocletian also introduced tetrarchy. Tetrarchy was a kind of government where 4 Caesars will split the empire and will rule under his main overseeing. But this system will not work well. His next emperor, Constantine the Great, will have to fight for the half of his reign with other Caesars who will not want to agree to his power. So Constantine was an emperor who will also unify the empire, but he will be the one who will make two very, very profound changes, and his actions will lay a shadow on a later history of an empire. First decision was to moving capital city to Byzantium. Byzantium, known from 330 as Constantinopolis, so the city of Constantine. Constantinopolis will become one of the greatest cities in the world and will be, of course, the capital of Byzantine Empire. But it was created here because the location of the city was very, very good, because it was on the connection point between Europe and Asia, and with crossing of many very important trade routes. Another very important factor that will change the history of the Roman Empire will be Constantine's tolerance for Christians. He will declare an edict from Nicaea that will allow Christian religion to be believed all over the empire, and now the Christianity will gain state approval, so it will grow rapidly. And in the end, in 337, on his deathbed, he will baptize. So he will be the first emperor of Rome who will be a Christian. In the 4th century, Germanic tribes will continue to ride Roman provinces, but their rights alone will be not enough to collapse this great empire. That there must be something stronger that will crush the strong walls of this Imperium Romanum. And this crash will come from the far east. The Huns will come in the end of the 4th century, and they will smash Gothic Empire in present-day Ukraine, and they settled in the Dunaj Valley in present-day Hungary, named from from Huns, but the main reason will be the great movement of Germanic tribes, because first of all, Huns were a new threat, and they were very, very hard to fight. Riding on small horses, shooting with very strong composite bows, make them very hard enemies to kill, and in fact Germans had no chance against them. So they were fleeing with every sources they have on the Roman territory, and Romans in the beginning accepted them because they think they will be their buffer against the Hunnic invasion. But they will change their mind soon, because very first Germanic tribes, the Goths, will pass the Dunaj River to the south and will fight Romans under Adrianople in 378. And this will be the first event in the whole Roman history that emperor will die on a battlefield fighting barbarians. Caesar Valens will be slain by Germanic Goths, and this will be the sign of the times. Now the empire will have to accept a lot of Germanic refugees, and they will settle on the old beautiful provinces of Rome and will be very waving loyalty to the Rome. Sometimes they will agree to fight for Rome, sometimes they will rebel against it. And then in the end of the 4th century, there will be Emperor Theodosius the Great, who will be the last one who will have both sides, the west and the eastern part. After his death in 395, one of his sons, Honorius, will lead the west and Arcadius will lead the east. And this will be the end of unification of Roman Empire. Caesar Honorius will be very weak and very mediocre emperor. he will allow Germanic tribes to settle in Gaul, in Spain, and even then they will ride him constantly. And finally, in the year 410, Visigoths under Alaric command will conquer Rome. Rome will be sacked by barbarian tribe for the first time since 800 years. And it will be the sign of times that now the eternal city was pillaged by the barbarian tribes. But Honorius stood still. He was still the Western Roman emperor because he was doing no harm to Germanic tribes, so they allow him to reign. Even he gave his daughter as a queen to Germanic leaders, so they was playing him as they wanted. But now they also have to fight the Huns because they will grow stronger and stronger. And in the middle of the 5th century, Attila, great Hunnic leader, will try to conquer the Western Roman Empire. And he will lead a great army consisting all his allied Germanic tribes and will face the Roman army with their allies on the Catalonian fields in present-day France in the year 451. On the Attila side there will be Ostrogoths, Gepids, Alans, and on the Roman side under great commander Aetius they will be Visigoths, Franks, and also some part of Alanic mercenaries. Alans were Sarmatian tribes. This battle will be very bloody, very cruel, and in the end of the day, Visigothic king will win the battle, and thanks to their aid, Aetius will score victory. Attila will be crushed, and it will be the end of Hunnic invasions in Europe. After a few years, Attila will die, and Huns will disappear. There will be no longer a threat for Europe. But the great movement of Germanic tribes will be not reversed. Now the Gaul, present-day France, will be occupied by Franks, will be occupied by Visigoths. In the Spain there also will be Visigothic, Vandalic and Suebic German tribes, and North Africa, present-day Tunisia, will be home for a new Germanic kingdom of Vandals. Vandals who will move all the way from present-day Poland through France, Spain, Morocco, and go to Tunisia, and then they will create Germanic state there. So great journey, but in fact Rome will lose all their wealthy provinces, and in the beginning of 5th century under Honorius they left peacefully Britannia because they couldn't sustain this distant province. So finally in the year 476, when Romulus Augustulus was dethroned by Germanic leader Odoacer, there will be not a big change in the political view of the Western Roman Empire, because in fact it was purely Germanic, mostly Germanic for the at least 100 years. Now Ostrogoths will conquer Italy, and they will of course try to sustain the Roman Senate. They will try to use Latin as their language in public affairs, but the Roman Empire will collapse forever, and the Eastern Empire will stand still and will stand for another 1000 years until the Turks will conquer Constantinople in 15th century. But this is whole another story, and I will tell you it in the other episode. So if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. I was talking about fall of the Roman Empire from this Serbian late Roman ruins located near Leskovec in Serbia. Bye bye!